Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of October 28th, 2024 through November 3rd, 2024, and I'm working with the Stories by the Month kit for October 2024 from Ali Edwards. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so this is the week of October 28th through November 3rd. So I'm using the October Stories by the Month. I normally would use the Stories by the Month kit in a week that's fully that week, but this is the week that includes Halloween. So I wanted to use that kit when I had something Halloween related. I don't have a ton of Halloween stuff because I don't really do much for Halloween. But I do have a cute photo of my cat and handing out candy, my daughter with her friends. Let's see, what else do I have going on this week? So the December daily prep party this week, I voted and we got new dishes and we went shopping for furniture. So actually I have a lot. I might actually want to include an insert this week because now that I'm looking at how many photos I printed, so if I put all of these, I'm just trying to figure out, yeah, so that would leave me like no space for anything. So I think what I want to do is get an insert. And I'm actually surprised I printed so many for this week. I wonder why. Maybe I was thinking of doing an insert. I'm not even sure what I was thinking. But I know we got new dishes and silverware from Crate & Barrel. So that's this story. This is the prep party, which was on Sunday. This was during the week. We had a retirement party at work for one of my coworkers that I am friends with. I voted on the weekend. I went furniture shopping on the weekend. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get a divided page protector for an insert and I'll pop right back on here. Okay, so I got a divided page protector with 9 3x4 pockets, and what I'm gonna do is just trim off this last row of pockets here because whenever I have an insert, I always want it to be smaller than the full album so you can tell it's part of the same spread. And I definitely could have done one that had 4x6 on it, but I did not cut that straight. I went with the 3x4s because I had all 3x4 photos printed. So I already have some 4x6 pockets here. So I don't need more 4x6. I definitely could have laid it out first to get a better feel for it, but I think I'm happy doing it like this. So I think this one's gonna be, the front can be like Halloween. And then, I'll just move this out of the way for a second. And this actually happened on Halloween. So this is a story here, my new silverware and stuff. This was random. This is a random photo. Maybe these should be the back. And see, now I kind of have like not enough photos, which is always what happens when I add an insert. But we'll see how this works. So I'm working with the Stories by the Month. I have all of this like saved ephemera from October. There's so much of it. And a lot of this I don't think is actually going to make it in the spread, but I had stashed it in here. And then I have my October Stories by the Month kit. So I'm gonna go through this first and see what I want to include from the cards. Okay, so I initially laid everything out. I think I like the idea of doing these repeated ones on this page here. So I'm gonna move that one to the side though, because one of the things I don't like about working with an insert is I kind of run out of space on my desk here. So I'm just gonna move that one to the side. This insert, I think one side's gonna be Halloween, the other is going to be our new dishes. So I have put some stuff here to kind of think about for those. I'm gonna put that over here and I'm gonna work on this side first. So what I'm gonna do for this side is first I'm gonna do my ephemera card because when I'm doing with the ephemera, it's like all over the place. And this month I had so much ephemera I collected because we went on a little road trip and it was my birthday. I had all my new planners. There was just so much like nice ephemera. So I kind of went through it and picked out some ones that I wanted to include. So I have 5 spots on here. And I might even put some other ephemera in this spread elsewhere. I'm not sure yet. So let's see, I have this one. These were like, so we bought all new dishes. So this is like the packaging from the silverware. And I had a ton of these because each like set came with its own little booklet. So I saved quite a few of them and I will probably use them in a few different places. But I have that. I have the business card from where we went for my birthday dinner. This, I planted tulips. So I'm going to actually just cut this out with scissors rather than using my paper trimmer because it's so thick. And that means it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. Let's see here. Just cutting out the ephemera and getting a lot of it off my desk is gonna make me a lot of space too. Then I have these scraps of the wrapping paper from my birthday. And I'm thinking I want to use like this little cat. So it's like sushi, it's like cat sushi because we went out to sushi for my birthday. So, and I love cats. So that was the wrapping paper that my boyfriend picked out, which was super cute. But the animals are kind of large though to fit in this, but I think that's gonna look good. So I'm gonna put this one here. So I tend to use these, or I've been using these cards all year for my ephemera, and I'm okay with it kind of sticking over the edge. I don't need them to perfectly fit in each section, but I want something kind of close to that. So I have this. And then we've got these two guys. So this is too big again. So I'm gonna put this one here for my silverware. Actually, I'm gonna put this one up here because what I'm gonna do for this last one is I have this paper. So I got new Ugg slippers for my birthday. And I think I actually forgot to write that on my journaling card in the week that I opened my birthday gifts, but maybe I'll go back and add that. So I'm cutting out Ugg. And with this tissue paper, you kind of have to just hand cut it because it's so thin to use. The paper trimmer will just tear. My plan is to put this one here and then have this kind of overlap it. It seems like that's gonna work. And I'm okay with it overlapping this business card some because you can still read that. And then this will just go right here in the corner. Actually, I'm just gonna cut this off because that part is not actually necessary. And this way you can read more of the U, even though I feel like you could figure out what the Ugg said. Okay, so that's my ephemera card, and that gets a lot of stuff out of the way. I also saved this from this, but I don't know where to put it, so I'm probably not going to actually use that. I have this card here, and I've been using these as part of my title card, so I'm just going to highlight this week because it is this week here, but it's also part of November, which is not on there, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna put my date stamp on here. Let me actually, what are my dates? This is October 28th through November 3rd. There we go. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put you guys on fast forward so you don't have to hear my slow process, but I'm thinking I'm going to do kind of like a recap of the week on this card. And this one, I have this bit of ephemera from my new planner. Although I like the ghosts, I don't know that I want to cover them up, and it's not really a ghost related thing. So I might just put, I think I'm going to do that one instead, like that. And I'll just staple this on here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this page, and then I'm going to work through each of my other sections separately. Rather than doing the entire spread as one, because I feel like this way I'll have more space to work on my desk. I also have the chipboard from the kit, I have the stamp set, and I have the word phrase strips. So I'm probably going to use some of these as initial embellishments, and then I'll probably pull some stuff from my stash. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and get this one put together. Okay, so this one does take a little bit longer to put together, and that's partially because there is that insert, so I just have more to fill out. I'm working the left-hand side first. I think I alluded to this in the introduction, but when I'm working with an insert, I tend to do each page standalone rather than work on the entire spread at once, simply because there's too much stuff in the way on my desk otherwise. So what I decided to do first, after adhering down that other piece of ephemera, which was from my Take a Note planner that came during the month of October, onto that filler card, I decided to work on this card here. So the Stories by the Month kits for 2024 came with a die cut pack. And one of the die cuts that was in quite a few of the sets was this Monday through Sunday speech bubble. So I decided that this would be a good addition to this spread because this was a pretty busy week. So I could use this card to add a highlight for each day. I used my regular pen, which is a Sarasa Mark-On 0.5, and I have my favorite supplies linked in the description box below. So if you're interested in purchasing any of them, you can go ahead and use those links. And often I get an affiliate commission from them. Some links I don't, but I just want to share all of my supplies with you either way. But if I do, then that's helpful to support this channel and help me continue making content for you guys and keep it free of charge for you to view. Anyways, back to my process. I'm also using a Tombow dual brush pen. This is one of the darker grays. I don't remember which number I used off the top of my head. I don't think I can see it on there, but it's one of the N numbers, a darker gray. And I'm just using the bullet tip of that to write some things in a bit of a bolder font for a few of the days. So this was a busy week. Like I said, I had a Zoom call on Monday for the Grit Story Kit. I had a retirement party on Tuesday. I had just a very busy work day on Wednesday. Thursday was Halloween. Friday, I did a lot of cleaning and vlogging, and I got my oil changed. Saturday, I voted and went shopping, and Sunday was the December daily prep party. So a very, very full week. I wrapped up this page here by adding the dates on the title card and slipped everything into the pockets. Now I'm moving on to the left-hand side, or the front side of the insert. So this insert has 6 3x4 pockets, and I'm going to use the front side of this to tell the story of Halloween. I am not super into Halloween. I think it's fun, but I am not really a party person, and so I don't really go out or dress up, and I don't have small children. I do hand out candy, and I put a collar on Pumpkin. And then Summer, my daughter, did do some dressing up. She's at college. She's a sophomore in college, so she went out with her friends, and she did send me some photos. So I printed one of them to include here. I don't always include things about what she's doing in college, but I do like to include them every now and then, especially when she sends me photos, which isn't that often. The trick or treat card that came with the kit was a 4x6 journaling card. And honestly, I just did not have that much stuff to say about Halloween. But I also, like I said, don't have a ton of Halloween stories. And because this card was very clearly about Halloween, I wanted to use it rather than put it in my stash where it will likely sit forever. So I decided to turn it into a 3x4 card. I trimmed down the text that says trick or treat, and I'm adding it onto this blank grid card from my stash to create a title. The card also had a strip underneath it with some additional phrases that had to do with Halloween. I think it's here's the spooky story, happy Halloween, and October 31st. And I just cut those off and I turned them into my own word phrase strips that I'm going to pair with the word phrase strips from the stickers in the kit to embellish my photos. And you'll see that in a little bit. First, I'm just going to do my journaling here. And like I said, I'm journaling about my Halloween. So about handing out candy and about dressing up pumpkin, and then a bit about what Summer did as well. I wanted to keep this super simple and document this story. And then I also had that filler card from the kit that is talking about October in the top left pocket. I think it's off camera now, but you will see it when I pull the spread down. And I decided to use that one for Halloween because it is a very Halloween print with a spider web on the back. I would say that this kit particularly I struggled with a little bit, although it's very cute. There is so much Halloween themed stuff in it. And for me, Halloween is just a day and it's not that big of a deal. And so most of my October is more like fall themed and not really Halloween. So I did struggle a little bit with this one. And I feel like I've been struggling a little with the kits this year from the Stories by the Month. Although they look super cute on initial look, I've struggled to kind of use them. Maybe it's just because there's so many products in the kits. I'm not sure. But I did kind of struggle with this one because there was so much Halloween themed products and I was just trying my best to use them up. Here you can see how I paired those white word strips that I made from that journaling card with orange ones from the kit. And I really, really loved how that turned out. And then I'm adding that Bring on the Candy vellum piece in that final pocket. I am going to end up adding a chipboard phrase onto that Bring on the Candy card just to personalize it a little bit. I don't know if I do that now or if I come back and do that later, but that will finish up this page of the spread. What I didn't end up doing here is adding a tab onto my divider. A lot of times when I add a divider in, I like to add some sort of tab to flip the page, and I just didn't do that here. I might go back and do it at a later point in time when I'm finishing up my album, but for now I'm just going to leave it. On the backhand side here, I'm working on telling the story of our new dishes and silverware. So we decided to purchase new dishes and silverware from Crate & Barrel, and they all arrived on Halloween. So although this is not really a Halloween story, I'm using Halloween products because, like I said, there were so many Halloween products in this kit. So there's the little ghost one, which I thought was actually super cute. So I started trying to put embellishments on top of it, and I felt like the pattern was just so cute on its own. I decided to just leave it. And then this card here says Everyday Moments. A similar card has been in a lot of the Stories by the Month kits this year, but this one does have that pattern on the background that is a spider web, which makes it more Halloween to me, but I'm just, I'm going with it because our dishes did arrive on Halloween. So I have a photo of our new dishes on the table. I have a photo of the new silverware in the drawer. And then I took a photo of the Crate & Barrel packages on our front porch that has the pumpkins and our Halloween decor out and a bunch of leaves because it's fall. So I felt like it kind of fit that even though this story itself is not a Halloween story, it really fits because it happened on Halloween. I also added that October Stories vellum in the top left pocket there because I really like those cards. That was another one that has been included pretty much every month this year. Or maybe in all of them, I don't know off the top of my head. I did consider adding a chipboard piece or something on top of it, but ultimately I leave it how it is, and I just added a simple chipboard onto the drawer of the silverware. I think when I have an insert like this, I tend to go a little simpler on my embellishing just because I have more pockets to fill and there's more going on the spread. So this way I'm able to just kind of get it done. Both of these cards here on the bottom have a vellum piece on one side, and I didn't back them with anything because the photo on the other side has white background, or like the back side of my photo paper is just solid white. So it ended up working out as a good backing for that vellum, as if it just wasn't really vellum in the first place. Now I'm working on this final spread on the right. For this page, I'm using that Loving Today and Making journaling cards from the kit that go together, and that Captured Delights card. These 4 cards have this like peachy color as a background as opposed to white, so they kind of don't really go with the rest of the spread, the rest of the kit, but I thought it worked really well because this week spanned October 28th through November 3rd. So I liked that the first 2, like the insert and the left-hand side, were all about things that were happening still in October. And on the right-hand side, we're talking about things that were happening in November. So one of the stories from this weekend was the December Daily Prep Party, which I participated in. And I participated in the all-day Zoom as well. And I took a screenshot of that Zoom. I took a few during the course of the day. And I had intended to kind of put together different people from different ones just to get like good photos of all of the people that I know, but I ended up just going with the easiest one because, or the best of them, because I just wanted to have this be simple. And I backed it on some pattern paper from my stash that coordinated nicely with that Captured Delights card. It's like a lighter blue and white to bring a little bit of white into this spread because of all of that peachy color, and also pull in that blue. And then I brought some green alpha stickers from my stash to write Prep Party on here. I decided to put them on 2 separate lines because I started out just writing it on one line and it was just too long that it wouldn't fit on the spread in that way. And so I did it right aligned with the thought that I would write December Daily in that little section. And I ended up writing it in cursive in my pen. I wish I had used that Tombow marker bullet tip, so it would be just a little bit thicker, which would have been nice, but it ended up working out anyways. And then I moved on to that making card, and on that card, I'm just going to journal about the December Daily Prep Party itself and what happened, which was perfect for that title that says Making 'Tis the Season for All the Things, because I am starting to make December Daily. I'm working on Project Life, and I actually spent a lot of the day working on creative team projects for another manufacturer, so it's fine that it was just like a full day of crafting, and I had a lot of fun hanging out with all of the people on the Zoom call. So that's what I'm journaling about here. The rest of the spread, so the middle part of the spread is going to be about this Saturday. So this part here, I'm kind of working backwards, working from the bottom up. So the bottom there was about Sunday, and that middle row is going to be about Saturday. So on Saturday, I went voting. I went to vote. We have early voting in my state. So I went to vote early, and then I went shopping primarily for some furniture. We were looking for some things for the reading room, which we're redoing, and we were looking for a new bed. And we also bought pickleball rackets because we wanted to upgrade ours. I considered putting that voting chipboard from my stash on top of that vote photo because, you know, how often can I use a voting chipboard piece? But ultimately, I thought the photo was better on its own. I also had more of those stickers that you can see the sticker of the I voted sticker in that photo. And I considered putting one on this spread, but I couldn't find them at the time I was putting this together. And I also had a photo of the sticker, so I decided against it. And instead, I was going through my chipboard, which I recently reorganized, and I will share more about that in a future video, probably in January after December Daily. But I pulled out a few of my different categories of chipboard to try to go through them, and I selected one that said "so darn busy" to put in the sky on that photo of one of the shops that we went to. One of the things that I keep in mind when taking photos, I've been doing Project Life for over 10 years now. So when I'm working on or just going about my life, taking photos, it's kind of second nature for me at this point to take photos that are going to work in Project Life or for scrapbooking. I've been scrapbooking pretty much my entire life. So a lot of times I'll take photos like that of the store where you can see there's so much extra sky there. And I did that intentionally, so that would be a great place to add an embellishment. On this final card here that says loving, I'm adding in just some bullet points of various things that happened this week. I'm just making a bullet point list of different things that I loved this week that were going on. I tend to do that pretty much every week on my project life. I like to have that bullet point list card for extra stories. But what's going to happen is I'm going to complete this and realize, I have that Capture Delights card. So I was taking my time here because what I decided to do was add some more bullet point stickers on that Capture Delights card, but make them more of a focus on like just different things that were happening this week as opposed to this one or things that I am loving. So I know delights probably should be positives as well, but it's just different things that happened this week that I'm including on this card. On that one spot, so this Capture Delights card has these like rounded rectangles. So my thought was to add stamped numbers and 7 stories in 7 of the rectangles. And then I put that chipboard piece from my stash that says falling back on there because the time also changed on Sunday. And while I don't really have a specific story about that, I felt like that could have been a numbered item, but instead of just making a number and writing, the time changed on Sunday, I just used that falling back chipboard piece to tell that story instead. What I'm doing here is I'm adding a list of things on my sticky note from my Hobonichi cousin, which is off screen, just to keep in mind that I have 7 stories before I start writing anything down so that I don't get to the end and have an extra space or an extra story. Then I'm going to pull over my favorite wood number stamp set. It's a smaller stamp set here that's in this box. And I do have this linked in the description box below. And I'm stamping out 1 through 7 on all of these rounded rectangles. The ones that are like almost off the page, I just ignored those. But the rest of them, I'm stamping it out. And then I'm using my list from that sticky note to write out each of the items from my list. So the things that I have Capture Delights here were starting the process to file a police report for the fraud that my daughter underwent. I talked about that in a previous video, but my daughter had some bank fraud the week before, so I was helping her with that. I was writing a super hard brief at work, which just took a lot out of me. I'm an attorney, if you don't realize, so I do litigation as well as other things. And I was just writing a brief for a litigation case. One of my employees had his last day this week, so I was reassigning all of his casework. So it just was a very stressful week at work. I was feeling super sore after doing yard work over the weekend. I think I'm just getting older and I just get really sore when I didn't used to, and it lasts so long. I continued deep cleaning the kitchen and rotating in the new dishes. I was watching season 3 of Bridgerton, and I was taking some time to winterize the yard. So this was just a very recap of the week and just little things that were going on. And I slipped everything into the pockets and called it done. Here's a look at that left-hand side and then the right-hand side of this spread. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.